What you find at Granville Island that you don't find in a lot of other places in the city is it's very colorful, it's very full of life.
It's like a land of experimentation, or at least that's what it should be.
It's people-centered. It's a people-centered space.
It was a process that was led by some people who were comfortable to innovate. Try this, try that.
It was a project initiated by Ron Bastard, the Minister of State for Urban Affairs.
It was Ron's initiative that got this underway. He had visions that Granville Island would become something of an eyesore and realized that the federal government, they had to come up and do something about that. And so he had it transferred from the Harbors Board to his portfolio.
I think part of the uniqueness of the leadership was the fact that they were willing to take risks. And so many federal organizations are exactly the opposite to that.
It was the old-fashioned zoning. This is industrial, this is retail, this is residential, don't mix them up. Well, we wanted to mix everything up.
I think that obviously you need a place that the people of Vancouver can enjoy and want to go to. Some form of educational facility, theater group, a farmer's market. That's the kind of use I would like to see made of it.
We set about to try and develop what they were imagining as a people place. So it had to be more than a park. You know, it had to have life, it had to have activity. We thought it had to have a broad mix of use. It had to have education and culture, and of course the industry.
Granville Island is a public federal space. For that reason, I think it does represent many different mixes of people.
I think Granville Island is what it is because there aren't the big chains. It is a place where you can always find locally made products.
The public market, I believe, began to earn in month 13 our forecasted revenue for year 4. You get the idea that it began to build up a momentum that is Granville Island today, though I have some concerns that that momentum isn't quite what it was.
I'm in the process of moving to Gambier Island, where I can work in a reasonable financial environment.
CMHC is a residential mortgage company. There isn't a single residential mortgage on Granville Island. There's a bit of a mismatch between the governance and the nature of what is being governed.
In the beginning, when tourists came here, they were overawed by it. Over time, they've started to make the place more commercial and more tourist-oriented, and I think that's a big shame.
In our plan, we always planned the place for the people of Vancouver, and that if tourism occurred, our view was that it was strictly icing on the cake. You can't start to lose the cake because the icing's not enough. There's still a lot to build here. And I think one of the unfortunate things is that over the past 25 years, almost nothing has been done.
With all the building space we have yet to redevelop, there's so many more subcultures that we could be inviting down here.
If you invest in culture, you get culture. I think that's what is necessary. Emily Carr brought in artists from around the world for people to talk to. Why not have a lecture series for artists to meet other artists from around the world?
The island's been reasonably successful. I just think that it's fading a little and needs some recreative thinking.
I like the idea, if we can, of getting back more to a responsible group from the community that can in fact be decision makers.
That's aware of the people in the community, aware of what the community needs and who the players are. Who can we bring in that's got the crazy idea that will actually work?
think the ownership of the island by a younger generation and a more diverse group that historically has owned it would be a powerful incentive to move the island into the next generation.
If you can take a hard look at the structures, the systems, how do we make decisions in the community, coupled with new resources to do things differently, then you can unleash all sorts of potential in communities.
I think that the island should be maintained as a federal asset, but if there was an independent organization managing it, that organization could go out and get more funding and make the place even better than it is.
There needs to be a sense that this is our island. We're the people who are making it work.
What we learned in Granville Island 2040 was that what made Granville Island successful in the beginning couldn't be more relevant today, and in fact is a recipe to make this place even more successful in the future.